What up, everybody? So, One Piece chapter 765. I like this chapter. I like this chapter a lot. I like this chapter a lot, yo. And the idea of Corazon getting caught lying to his brother. Now we see why Doflamingo put so much value on loyalty and people being straight with him. Now everything's making sense. He got cut by the person who was closest to him. He got cut by his brother. Now we see why he killed his brother. I mean, this really reminds me of Godfather. Like when Michael finds out that it's Fredo, the one who was betraying him. Oh man, like that scene will forever be etched in my head. And it's the same thing here. It's the exact same thing here. Like Doflamingo's just like, yeah, I would like to think it's a coincidence that the Navy hasn't been on us in the 6 months my brother's been gone, but I don't think that's a coincidence. And so Doflamingo does two things. Because he put emphasis on the word like. Like Oda has it bolded. And what he really did was he uses this as an opportunity to test his brother. And at the same time, he's also preparing himself for what he knows needs to be done. He's just hoping his brother gives him a reason to ignore. And it's very telling. It's very telling about Doflamingo's character that he arrived to that conclusion. Because the thing about family is, like, I got some members of my family that if push came to shove, if they died tomorrow, I could give a fuck about them. And I know that sounds really harsh. So I know that sounds really, really harsh. But I mean, I get where Doflamingo's come from. Just to get personal for a second, like, currently, I'm staying in the South right now. My job has me in the Bible Belt, okay? And so it's brought me closer to family I've got here. Like, I've literally got a bunch of family in the city I'm in, and then 2 hours away, I have a bunch of family. And the thing is, it's like I've spent so long trying to stay away from them that I'm having to interact with them more, and I've gotten to the point where I'm like Doflamingo. I want to cut them loose. I just want to cut them loose. I just want to leave and not have anything to do with them. Like, I'm thinking about moving to Texas. Ironically, Dallas, Texas, because that's, I hate the Dallas Cowboys, but, like, I love the city. And, it's an added benefit that I get to see the New York Giants play whenever they go. I typically go down there once a year when they play the Giants. And I thought about moving back to Florida. And so I say all that to say, with family, they always make you hesitate a little bit, even if you can't stand them. So I can't imagine what it'd be like for Doflamingo, where, with Doflamingo, he knows he's got to cut his brother loose. And yet he's struggling with it a little bit. And so by testing by testing Corazon, Doflamingo is essentially saying, I'm giving you information. This is true. If this information gets out, I know that you're the snitch. I know that you're the one who is betraying us. Please prove me wrong. And what's so telling about that? What's so telling is, in that moment, we see that Doflamingo, he actually has a heart. Because if his brother doesn't betray that information, he'll turn a blind eye to it. So, I mean, I like that. I do like what Oda did there. Again, Oda understands that when it comes to characters, man, you got to have them complex in the sense that they really need to have that gray area. The characters need to live in the gray area. They can't see everything in black and white. And for a long time, Luffy was a character, he saw things in black and white, and then Oda starts splashing bits of gray there. And I really feel like that really started around Arlong Park, and then we really saw it after the whole thing of Marineford, where we got Luffy's whole backstory with Ace and with Sabo and all that. Like, I mean, I love it. I love what Oda's doing here. I mean, we're getting very awesome character development. I mean, this is really important, man. I really enjoyed what we're seeing on this end. Now, another thing, though, is I like how Corazon is just like, I can't eat 2 devil fruits. I eat 2 devil fruits, I'm going to die. And he says, like, hey, Law, the Ope Ope fruit, hey, if you can get this, you can cure any ailments. You'll be an amazing doctor, if you will, and you can cure yourself, even if it's an unidentified ailment. And he's just giving Law hope. And what I really like is, once again, Oda shows where the human psyche is. Because once Law starts hearing Corazon speaking with Sengoku, Law had been holding his strength. Law had been hanging in there for a very long time. And then once he starts hearing him interact with Garp and Sengoku, and he starts getting confirmation that Corazon is actually working with the Navy, and by extension working with the world government, once that happens, his health fails him. And I liken that to this, like with people, hope is the most powerful thing. Our mind is a very powerful weapon. And so if you're holding on to that hope, to that belief, to those emotions, it can get you through an ailment, it can get you through an illness, depending on how strong that emotion is, or it can at least prolong your life longer than what doctors expected. Like you hear stories all the time about how, like, some relative was, definitely sick and everything, but they held out just a little longer because of something was happening with the relatives. I mean, this is very, very interesting. And I like what you got there with the whole thing with Law, and I like how Law was just like, the arms fruit is better than this, and Corazon's like, yeah, I know, but nobody gets a better night's sleep than me. He's just doing, little small things with them. He's doing little small things, and I really enjoy the whole thing of Corazon speaking with the Navy, because he knows he's playing a dangerous game, and he even acknowledges, he says like, hey, we're gonna make enemies out of everybody, kid. You got to have a strong will to make it through this. And what I like about that is he's got the courage of his conviction. He's not backing down on it. He's not backing down. And so that's what I really like about that. Now, the other thing that I found really, really fascinating, is how he's getting there and he's mapping out his plan, and you have those pirates who are like, yeah, we could probably make a great doctor, but all we care about is the money. I'm like, wait a second, if you ate the fruit, you could cure anything. You could charge whatever you wanted. You could be swimming in money. Like, you fucking idiot. You fucking idiot. And that's what Doflamingo is just like, this guy doesn't understand the true power. And I know with Doflamingo, there's something a little more to it. Doflamingo has other reasons he wants someone in his crew to have that fruit. But it's just like, if you want the money, I mean, that's your way to retire right there. That's just like if I came to you right now and I said, hey man, I'm gonna give you $1 million. Okay, if I say I'm gonna come to you and give you $1 million, well, first person will say, well, $1 million is enough for me to retire. Like, okay, so take me, like, I'm in my mid-20s. So somebody says, I'm gonna give you $1 million if you just do this one thing. Well, somebody would say, oh, well, $1 million from your mid-20s to the average life expectancy is like 80 something right now. So, from your mid-20s to 80, that's not going to be enough to last. But see, this is where people mess up. It is enough to last if you take that money and you invest it. Hell, just off of the interest that you would get by saving it, your money would grow. If you just put half of that in savings, and like in a IRA or whatever, and just max that out over time, and your interest would just grow. Your interest would grow. And then you invest the rest of it. You could retire. You could retire early as fuck. And it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Like, if they were to take this fruit and actually put it to work, oh, dude, they might be working a little longer, but if you go to all these royals and everybody who have like a shit ton of money to blow, and somebody's sick, you could cure the fuck out of them. You could cure the fuck out of them and charge an arm and a leg. You could live like a king hundreds of times over. But, they're too focused on the here and now. They're too focused on the big paydays. I mean, I like what Oda did on that one. And so, when Corazon's just like kind of sneaking around and he gets the devil fruit on some real espionage shit, and then he gets caught, and you have him think about Law, where he's just like, Law, I just need you to hang in there a little bit longer. I mean, this is the makings of a tragedy, because we know how this is going to end. Doflamingo's going to kill his ass. We know how this is going to end, but it just really makes you, feel for the character. So I want to know from you guys. What do you think about this relationship with Corazon and Law? What do you think about it? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.